That's a true high-rise project, whereas, I mean, other than the coating downstairs, there's really not much to see. Everything was done underneath. And we did a couple of excavations to prove a couple of the theories I had. I brought engineers on this project. We designed the railings. We had made them like mounted differently, so actually gave them more surface area to walk around on. That's a neat, I mean, in my mind, that's probably one of my favorite projects. And so a lot of times I'm taking out old, big, rusty, steel railings and putting in stainless steel surface mounted railings. I did that at Regency, I did that at Madison House, I did that at Kingston House. So we do that everywhere now, it seems like. I did that for Frisch's. You know, George contacted with me. His main concern was the railings. He's like, these railings are bad shape. He'd only been there for a few months, and he knew right away they'd have a lawsuit sitting there. He's like, we got to fix these railings right away. He's like, can you come out and take a look at them? So I went out and took a look at them. I was like, yeah, you've got a real issue. I was like, you really got to, stop people from even going out there now, because I think that, something could fall. He's like, well, let's just get rolling on this right away. So that's what kind of rushed the project. He had 3 contractors he was talking to. I was the third one brought in. They had tile on top of some sort of membrane on top of a topping slab on top of a structural hollow core plank. And none of the other contractors had proposed taking it all off and putting down NeoGuard, and that being the finished surface. Well, that's the membrane. That's the urethane waterproofing membrane. It's less expensive doing it that way, and it's just really easy to work with. It doesn't last as long as some of the other products out there, but because it's pedestrians or only just walking up there, it should last a long, long time. And to fix it, it's relatively inexpensive. And so George wanted a system that would be easily repaired. It can look nice. I mean, it's not going to look like terrazzo, but you can make it look like a nice, comfortable walking surface. And so I gave them the basic gray, and everybody loved it. And I was like, oh, I can't believe it, because a lot of times, sometimes it's hard to sell it because it's not that pretty. Another advantage is when I told them, once we're done and the association's paid for that membrane, I gave them an option that the homeowners could buy these interlocking plastic tabbed wood or granite tile, which sit right on the membrane. And so if somebody wanted to upgrade their balcony, they could do that. And I think that's what sealed the deal. He's like, well, that's perfect. He's like, that's what I think we should do. And so when I'm looking, another concern of ours is we weren't sure how well the topping slab was bonded to the hollow core plank. Because you can have a lot of concrete you have to repair now. So that's a huge unknown. So George was thinking that the whole topping slab had to come up, and I wasn't convinced. And so I said, hey, why don't you pay us to come out and we'll take out a couple samples of your concrete, and we'll just look at see how well it's bonded. And so Matt and I went out there one day and we took out a couple samples, and what I would do is we'll budget doing just a little bit, maybe a foot band of concrete repair in front of every balcony. He really liked that. I mean, it's perfect for kind of what we did. We did a lot of negotiation, a lot of price points that if we're not going to perform the work, we'll give the money back to you. So he loved that. He came in like $30-some thousand under budget. It made a lot of money. And also, while we're out there, he says, can you caulk this building also? He's like, one of the reasons I hired you guys is because you have the capabilities of having HGC general contracting. You guys know how to run subs. And yeah, we run subs all the time. We do that all the time. So, and I can get good pricing for you. And so he's like, why don't you give me a price for caulking this thing? So I got some sub prices on that. And he says, while you're at it, why don't we paint this thing too? So I got some sub prices on that. And lo and behold, he went with it. I couldn't believe he did that either. So it's almost, it's a $550,000 job. So, and it's going to lead into more work. Now he wants to take us down to there's some lower terraces that he wants to work on. So he wants to caulk those and paint those this year. He's also got a garage that needs to be coated. He wants to do that. We put an expansion joint in there. We did a bunch of concrete drainage work there on top of that. So busted up, nasty tile to NeoGuard. Oh, actually, we put down Sika there.